Leave the everyday stresses behind and come on an action-packed ride with me, Penny Wells, and the Discover Oz crew as we travel to the top of Down Under.
You gotta take a chance or you won't make it. And if you wanna go far away, you gotta take a chance or you won't taste it, yeah. And if you know where you're going and you're going tonight, then come on with me, little girl, and we'll go for a ride. We'll go for a ride.
Join me on a white-knuckle ride to the top of Down Under. Hi, I'm Penny Wells and welcome to the top of Down Under. We have some action-packed thrills for you in this episode as we head for Seven Emu Station, hoping to catch some mud crabs, but not before tackling the Robinson River crossing twice. So jump on board and let's go for a ride. The Northern Territory is not overly regulated with restrictions, though you are required to observe some conditions of entry when staying in certain Indigenous towns. For more information regarding these restrictions, phone the Australian Government Northern Territory Emergency Response Hotline on 1800 333 995.
I tie my shoes and walk across to the general store.
Engage.
For change and use the phone I'll pay to call you.
Heading further west, the road is high-speed dirt, and the only thing that slows you down is the numerous creek crossings.
Claims that we regret to inform you that nobody's home to take
I didn't see it the last one, so I was okay to walk it.
The Robinson River is particularly fast-flowing. Although not overly deep, it can still sweep you off your feet with its combination of rock and sandy bottom. I couldn't quite pick what the problem was at first, but something wasn't quite right with my vehicle.
Hey Jade, I think I might need you to return the favour here. I've gone down a bit, might need a quick snatch, and I think that's all I need.
Jade, I'm a little bit bogged. It's not too bad, so I think you could give me a quick snatch.
Yeah, too easy.
Alright. Must have had it in full drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jump out on you.
Yeah. Cool. This was the first time Jodie had ever snatched anybody out. She was honing her four-wheel drive skills at a great rate of knots. And secretly, I think she had been dying for a chance to pull me out. But I certainly didn't mind. Jade, buddy, thanks for getting me out.
That's all right.
I got a bit bogged in the process yourself.
Yeah.
But not too bad, really. Yeah, we'll just back you back a little bit, keep the wheel straight, and get onto some harder ground.
Okay.
But I'll unhook first.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, won't be a tick. And that's why I have always enjoyed the peace of mind of travelling in a group.
Do your wife's car.
Sorry, babe, I didn't lock the hubs in, mate. You know I'm never allowed to drive your car.
Nobody's home to take your call.
196 kilometres west of the Queensland border is the turnoff to Seven Emu Station. This was our next location to explore for a few days.
Thank you. Hello. Hello. Yeah. Oh, that's this book. Yeah, I found a French fly. As long as I keep scratching.
From the turnoff, you will need to drive a further 39 kilometres to the homestead, but not before crossing the Robertson River for a second time. And this time, the Robertson River demands you take it more seriously. Because of its depth, high flow rate and hidden boulders, you only get one crack at a river like this. Once again, Jodie's patrol followed like a shadow. I can honestly say this was the most interesting driveway into a property I had ever experienced. You must be Frank.
Yeah, you must be Frank. How are you?
Yeah, nice to finally meet you. Yeah, it was an interesting crossing coming in here.
Yeah, it's a bit rough.
It was a little bit, but
Yeah.
we got through all right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you got a good little setup here.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. Mind if you show me around?
Yeah, I shall.
All right. Seven Emu is a working cattle station that has only recently opened its doors to tourists. Owner Frank Shadforth and his family are more than happy to share it with you. I can't remember everyone's name.
Yeah.
And you've got a pretty interesting story how this place come about.
How the old man swam it.
Yeah, yeah.
What he done, he swam 40 horse cross with my brother, and then my dad swam back across the river and picked up Mum.
Yeah.
But what he done, he had 10 pack saddle, put a tarpaulin underneath and sort of tied it up and made a raft,
Yeah, yeah,
tied it up on his horse tail
yeah.
and dragged it across.
Wow.
But Mum was sitting on top of the raft,
Mhm.
and she had my baby sister on top.
Yeah.
In the middle somewhere, she nearly dropped
Really?
my sister there.
How old was your little sister then?
About 8 months, I think.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Heck. Wow. And where you took us, like, that's a pretty wide river. Like, that's no mean feat to get across there.
It's like the cliff's about 50-foot drop, I think.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty
But
steep.
that's how he swam it.
Wow.
Because it was still,
Yeah.
and the horse could swim straight across.
And good horses.
Yeah.
I think if it's okay with you, would like to have a look at go out to the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Primarily a cattleman, Frank is investing in facilities to cater for tourists. Construction has started in the form of shade shelters, hot showers and pit toilets to take advantage of the great views of the Robertson River. Well, here at Seven Emu, the country's pretty wild and I love that. And Frank, he is such a sweetie, you will love him. And you can actually access the ocean from here, which is where we're heading now.
If you get with me, pleasure is paid, you're gonna get hurt, babe. 'Cause I'm playing
Yeah,
I'm a teaser, not a pleaser. I tear you apart, take to you.
we stopped to check out this crevice on the road because it was so close to where we were driving across. But in these little chasms here, there's like hundreds of butterflies. It's a bit of a find. The monarch butterfly seems to do well in this area. Anywhere that it's cool and dark, they like to rest from the heat of the day.
You won't get what you want from me, baby. with fire.
The unmaintained track out to the coast is in relatively good condition, with the exception of some spots that will require putting the vehicle into four-wheel drive.
I look at them with my innocent eyes. They'll never know it's a disguise. I'm treating me, yeah.
By the way, locking your hubs in also makes life easier.
I'm all around the heart of stone. I have no soul. You won't get what you want from me, baby. I'm a liar. Don't go playing with fire.
Not far from the mouth of the river is one of the property's old huts, to which the elements have left their scars on it. And if you catch a fish worth bragging about, you too can leave a mark.
Tell me just how much you want it. I'll inject you with my poison. Just one kiss, I'll have you falling for me. I'm all around the heart of stone, yeah.
Not much further along the track though, there are some good campsites on the river's edge for those anglers keen to fish.
I'm a liar. Don't go playing with fire. Don't go playing with fire. Don't go playing with fire.
Well, we've just come up from the hut and there's some awesome camping spots up here, and these guys have been kind enough to let us have their camp. They've cut the grass down really nice. There's some firewood they've left here, and they've even left us some crab pots, so I can't wait to get those in the water.
While we were dropping the pots in the water, hoping for some mud crabs, Jody was fishing for dinner off the bank.
I do believe it is a brim, and I am ecstatic. Stay. He's gonna get out.
I learnt from Jody, you kick the thongs off and it attracts the brim.
Jody must have started something here, because all the boys came out to throw a line in now. But this young lady was showing them how it was done.
Good size of that, man. Good size, eh? Don't hold it so close to the camera.
To compliment Jody's catch, we arrived back with some healthy-looking mud crabs. In the Northern Territory, the legal size for mud crabs are 13 centimetres for a male and 14 centimetres for a female.
Furthest point, the furthest point. I got about
16?
16 and a half, 16. Yeah.
There you go.
He's heavier than the last one. Maybe about twice the weight.
Good day for fishing.
Good day.
Jody's success inspired me to have a crack at the brim myself. The basic bush-style filleting table worked an absolute treat, and there's nothing quite like fresh fish and crab caught that day for dinner.
I got 3 words. This is living.
We still have more of Seven Emu Station to show you, but after the break we have another trip preparation tip to help you plan your next adventure.
To give you confidence on your trip, make sure your car is mechanically sound before you leave.
Sure, you may have small minor repairs that can't be avoided on the trip, but spare yourself the drama and minimise any major breakdowns that you could have by getting a check done now. So I've got Brett here from BRN Mechanical. Now Brett, you've already done a few major repairs on my vehicle.
That's right, Penny. We've replaced the O-rings in the rear diff locker, we've replaced your front wheel bearings, and we've fitted a touring clutch to your vehicle.
No, that's great that you've done that, but now that you're going to do the pre-trip inspection for me, at the same time, would you mind if I looked over your shoulder and just learned a few things about the vehicle myself? So on the trip, if something does go wrong, I need to know what to look out for, like what's changed. Do you mind if we do that too?
Yeah, great idea. First thing we're going to check, Penny, is your wheel bearing for movement. So if you want to grab the tyre top and bottom and give it a wiggle.
Yep.
Now there's no movement there, is there?
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's good. And the next one is side to side.
Yep.
Grab the tyre side to side and give it a wiggle, and we got nothing there as well, so that's really good.
Okay, all right, so that's something I can actually do on the trip. I can jack up a wheel and check that both ways.
Basically, if it doesn't feel right or there's movement, we need to do something about it.
Okay, great.
The first thing we're going to check is your steering. What we're looking for here in these boots, Penny, is to make sure they're not split or cracked.
Yep.
And that's to keep the water out and the grease in.
Okay.
And these bushes over here, what we're looking for is the same deal. Make sure they're not split, cracked, perished, and make sure that they're sitting evenly in both sides.
Okay, yep, I can keep an eye on that.
Yep. So basically, if anything's sitting out of place or doesn't look right, you really need to let your mechanic know.
Okay, sure.
What we're looking for here is any leakage from the shock absorber.
Yep.
Same deal with your bushes, checking for cracked, split, perished.
Yep.
And same with your link pins and the sway bar bushes.
Okay, yep.
So, but you've already got new shockies, so highly unlikely you're going to have any dramas on this trip.
Yeah, I think so too.
And what we're doing here, Penny, is we're checking our gearbox and transfer case to make sure there's no fluid leakages. Most of this sort of stuff can be done without even jacking your vehicle up. You can just roll under with a good flashlight and have a look.
Okay, so when I get under, to look for any sort of damp, dark patches.
Yeah, that's right, yep.
Okay, yep, sure.
And what we're checking for here is on your uni joint is just grab the shaft and give it a wobble and see if there's any movement there.
Yeah, okay, so that's what it should be like.
And also after your trip, because you probably are going to go through some creek crossings,
yeah.
just swing by and we'll whack a grease gun and pop some grease in there for you.
Okay, great. Yeah, there's a grease point in there, I see. Yep.
Yeah,
Sure.
this sort of movement's normal. It's,
Okay.
Give the exhaust a good shake,
Okay.
and we're checking the mounting points. With the corrugated road that you'll be driving over,
Yeah.
it is a pretty common problem. They will do rubbers and they will come loose.
Okay.
So we've got a loose one here. We might just give that a tighten before we let you go.
Yep, bit of movement there. Another great idea is while your vehicle's up on a hoist, grab your phone, take a couple of pics of things that you want to keep an eye on. Then when you're out in the tracks, you can pull your phone out, have a look at the photo and compare to what you've got on the tracks and make sure that everything's in place. It's just a good reminder of what you should be looking for.
So Penny, what you're looking for under the bonnet here is the yellow caps and the yellow dipstick.
Okay, yep.
Basically everything in yellow you can touch.
All right.
There's nothing too technical about it.
Great.
We'll start with the windscreen washer fluid. Just top it up with water.
Yep.
Pop some soapies in it.
Yep, yep.
And just check your high and low level on the brake fluid.
Okay.
Top it up if required. Now your dipstick is down here in yellow as well.
Yeah.
You're basically checking to make sure it's in between the two marks.
Okay.
If it's not, top him up.
Yep.
So Penny, the last of our yellow cap is the coolant overflow bottle here, which is for your radiator.
Okay.
So basically you're making sure the water's in between the low and the high mark on there, and just top it up with water if you need to.
Okay, yep, I can do that. Brett, is there anything I need to keep an eye on my battery?
Yeah, we should be checking to make sure that the battery's secure in its cradle, the hold down clamps are tight,
Yep.
and the battery terminals haven't got any movement.
Okay.
Now if they have, just grab a spanner and tighten them up.
Okay, yep, I've got one of those in my toolkit.
Yeah, well Penny, I think we've covered the basics.
No, we haven't. I feel a lot safer now, Brett, so thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll have a great trip.
Thank you. Just on sunrise, the boys snuck out in the boat and headed up the glass-like waters of the Robinson River to check the crab pots, which had been soaking overnight.
Here you come now, darling. Steamboat out your ears. You know that I'm scared of you. You run me with my fear. Like a beast, you charm me.
That's better than crab. A couple big cod. Geez, he's a good size, isn't he? Yeah, they're feeding that. There's a couple feeding those there. He looks, I think he's big enough, so just double check. What is he? Estuary cod. Yep. Yeah, 42. 40. 43 ones, really. That's a happy little meal there, mate.
It is a good size, this fella.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to measure how big that bigger one is.
The river is home to a diverse variety of marine life, and you certainly won't have to work too hard to get a feed around here.
Taste of a crab each.
Yeah.
I reckon, Jed.
Ish. Very nice.
The little one is 40, we say 42 centimetres long.
So what are the spotty guys?
Cod, estuary cod.
This guy's a flathead. Cool.
Not bad, eh?
Yay.
You can't have fish without chips, and tonight we would eat like kings.
I caught the fish too.
That's good.
With a toasty campfire, a selection of cod, bream, flathead, crab and choc chip damper, our final night at Seven Emu Station was one of those memorable moments you dream about long after the trip is over.
Challenge. Competition's out, Dave is out, right. Competition's pretty fierce here.
Well, that's it for this episode. Now, it's a pretty intriguing story, learning how Seven Emu came to be. And it might be bush camping at its finest, but if you've got a sense of adventure, you'll get to experience a little piece of Australia that's still wild and untamed. And there's just so much of this Gulf area yet to have a look at. So I'll see you next time.